chin tight. I saw you laughing. I saw your smile. It made me anxious, baby. It made me high. You are sky and snow. That seat's been removed. You're a deep-rooted tree. An honest mule. I watch you listen. And I watch you share. You make me want more. You make me scared. And you're so much more than I'd ever hoped. So won't you breathe? Oh, won't you breathe? Breathe me in. I am home. Oh, won't you breathe? Oh, won't you breathe? Breathe me in. I am home.
Hello, people of the universe. What is going on out there? What is shaking? What is doing? Guess what? We're back. It's another episode. I'm doing episodes. You know, that's what's fantastic about this is I'm actually getting up and I'm actually doing some stuff with this show again. So I'm digging it. And guess what? Look at the angle here, guys. I think I got the angle in the perfect skew this time. You know, I used the word skew last time, and I think it's pretty good. I maybe have a little bit of a problem here where I've got too much of this door and wood on this side of the trailer. I have too much wood over here, and maybe a little lackluster wood over here. So I could maybe proportionately equal out the wood for everybody. But what are you going to do, man? I don't have a protractor. I don't have a level. A compass, all those type of things to get things, a ruler, to get things in the right proportion. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And as you all well know, or as you all know very well, right? Is that what I'm trying to say? Is my eyesight's not that great, really. I do have this other angle set up over here. I don't know if it's any better than the other angle, really. I mean, it's kind of a side angle, so I was trying to just do a side thing going on. I'll zoom in a little closer on that one, and I'll try to look at this camera when I have that camera on. But I just was pissed off that the last episode I could not get that camera to work, and it's not a 6S. I mentioned the last episode it's a 6S. It used to be a 6S. I had a 6S that had a busted screen that I would use just for video on this podcast, and I no longer used it as a phone. I don't even know where that phone is, to be honest with you. I might have tossed it in the trash. I don't know why I would have, because that would be a third camera, so I'm pretty sure I've got it somewhere, but I'm discombobulated, really, folks. Now let's go back to this camera. This is, the iPad right here in front of me, so I'm kind of discombobulated. I've got so many things running through my head. I've got this presentation I'm trying to put together and do. I've got, I'm trying to get my trailer squared away. I finally got it out of my parents' backyard today. I pulled it out, and it is now back in the driveway, side driveway. I got the leveling jacks squared up again, so that's why we're level. We're not shaking like we were the other night because I got the jacks down. So I got that going on. I'm trying to just catch up with some people and do some things. I'm trying to take care of my dog. I'm trying to tomorrow probably I got to get out here and do some things in this trailer and get some things straightened up and squared away and sweep it out, wipe it out, sanitize it, and just clean it up after 3 months of sitting stagnant. So that's what will be happening some tomorrow. Let's see if we can go back to this angle. No, that's not the one I like. This is straight on. This is kind of the best angle, really. But if you like a straight on angle, some people don't. Some people like things a little offset. But so I'm just kind of doing a little update. I'm saying so a lot. I really, as always, didn't have a real big plan for what I was going to do on the show. I just pulled the trailer out and I said, "Hey, I'm back. I'm level again. Let's see if we can get another show in the bank." and talk about some of the stuff that's happened over the last week since the last time I did a show. So that song in front there, that was Candlebox, called "Breathe Me In." And the reason I played that song is, one, I love Candlebox. Candlebox is one of my favorite bands of all time. I love those guys. They are still killing it. They just put an album this year. I listened to it multiple times while I was paddling the Mississippi River. It really got me through a lot of hard paddles. Fantastic new album. They just kill it. They sound the same as they've sounded since the grunge days back in the early '90s, and they're still putting out quality content, and I'm digging it. This is off of the previous album, I think, previous to this new one that just came out in 2021. But it kind of coincides with the beer I'm going to open, and the beer that I'm going to open, and it kind of coincides with the beer coincides with something else. So it kind of all connects. It all connects, guys. And I had somebody tell me the other day that you can say guys. Guys is not really. It's just kind of a general term. There's going to be some people out there that maybe disagree, that say maybe I can't use that term. So if I throw it out there, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to apologize for it, but I'll try and say folks or people or whatever other term I can think of. But so we'll open this beer. So the beer I'm drinking today is called Breathe Easy. If you've noticed, there's a theme going on. I'm really digging these Southern Range beers. We had one the other night on the last podcast. By the way, that was Ray Liotta that I was trying to think of. That's where that line from the movie came from that says, funny, like I'm a clown. Joe Pesci asked that of Ray Liotta in the movie. God, I can't speak. My tongue is not functioning correctly. So we're going to drink a beer from that same brewery company, Breathe Easy. It's an IPA. It's an Imperial Double New England IPA, actually, a hazy IPA. I don't know why when they put New England IPA, I don't know why they put hazy along with it, because really the term New England or NEPA or New England IPA is, it really denotes that it's a hazy IPA, I think. If I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong, but I believe that was the whole thing of that coming about versus a West Coast IPA that was hazy and juicier and less bitterness from the hops, even though a lot of times these beers have more hops in them than a traditional IPA, so to give more flavor, but they just add those IPA, or they add the hops in a different portion of the brewing process. So you have bittering hops, you have flavoring hops, you have finishing hops, you have all kind of different stages of adding hops that give you a different profile of those hops. So the hazy, they kind of add at a later stage to not give you those bittering, but kind of give you those finishing and flavoring hops. So there's normally a lot more of them traditionally. So again, I don't know why they add hazy to the New England name there, but I'm doing all this talking without even being on camera, so that's kind of fun. Juicy Hazy Double IPA, generously hopped with Citrus, Simcoe, and El Dorado. Breathe Easy was brewed in memory of our dear friend Darrell, who lost his life in cystic fibrosis, not in cystic fibrosis. He wasn't in, cystic fibrosis, but he lost his life to cystic fibrosis. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing about that, but all proceeds from Breathe Easy will be donated to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So we've made a donation with this purchase, so that's good. So the beer I'm talking about right here is, let's see if we can get it in the frame. See if we can get the light off of it. So Southern Range, Breathe Easy. Breathe Easy goes with the song I just played, Breathe Me In from Candlebox. And then why are we breathing easy, folks? Why are we breathing easy? Because I have finally set a date for my presentation up at Coastal Coffee Roasters and a time. We're going to pour this in a glass real quick. Cup, tumbler, whatever you want to call it. I don't use glassware in the trailer anymore because it's just dangerous. I don't want glass breaking and having to clean up glass all over the trailer. So I ended up buying these little tumbler type things. This is from Booneshire Brewing Company up in Boone, North Carolina. I love these guys. I bought 2 of them while I was up there the last time I visited Boone. And they're just fantastic. They keep things nice and cold. They keep them hot if you put a hot drink in there. Only thing is you don't get to see the beer, and that's kind of a bad thing for the show. I like to show you the beer and the color and the head on it and all those nuances. But who cares, really? who cares? So let's take a sip of this beer and see what's going on. Man, another winner from Southern Range Brewing Company. They're killing it. I've had probably since I've been back in town, and these guys again are out of Monroe, North Carolina. So I consider them local. They're not South Carolina beer, but they're local within the local region. Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, I kind of consider the local region around me that I can get pretty readily at the stores here in town. So I've had, let's see, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe this is the 5th beer I've had from those guys so far, maybe 6 possibly. And every single one of them just, they've knocked it out the park. They've done a really good job. It seems like they focus on the IPAs quite often, quite a bit. I don't think I've had, matter of fact, I know I haven't had anything else besides an IPA from these guys. So they're killing that game. I'd like to try some of their other stuff, but I just haven't seen their other stuff out and about yet. So as soon as I do, you'll be the first to know, and I'll be the first to drink it for you. But we're going to zoom in just a tad bit farther here, farther. So yeah, breathe easy. I finally got together. I went up to Coastal Coffee today, and I've been talking back and forth with Brad and Danielle. Brad, the owner, and Danielle, the manager up there, and I've been trying to set up a date. And I didn't really know when I wanted to do it. I didn't know when I was ready. I was kind of procrastinating on even starting this thing, and it's kind of hard to always start a project, right? I mean, it takes speaker cut off. It takes a little time to kind of get motivated. Sometimes, sometimes you have to have a deadline to get you motivated to start a project. And I'll be honest, I'm out of practice, and I'm always honest on the show, but I'm out of practice with doing PowerPoints and presentations and talking to people and those things. Of course, I talk to you guys. I talk to people on the show. I talked to tons of people on the river during this 2,200-mile paddle and 94 days on the river. We talked to tons of people and had to explain our journey and just sometimes small talk, sometimes real talk, sometimes just in general great conversations, what have you. But to actually sit down and put together a PowerPoint, and I'm not using PowerPoint this time, really. I've always done, my time in the military, my time in public speaking, college, different classes, whatever. I've always used Microsoft PowerPoint. Well, I still have a PC, or I have a Microsoft Surface, but most of the stuff I use now, pretty much 99% of the time, is my 2 iPhones here. And I forgot to finish that story. So this is not an iPhone 6S. I'm no longer using that phone. I'm sure it's somewhere. Why would I throw it away? This was the iPhone 10 that I bought to replace the 6S because it had a cracked screen on it. So before I went on the river, and I've told you this, guys, before, the story before, but before I went on the river, I decided I was going to go ahead and upgrade to a 12 Pro. That way I would have the best camera possible for you guys to have the best pictures possible while I was out on the river in the videos and things like that. So this is actually a 10. Over here, this is the, where are we here? So this is the 10, excuse me. This is the 12 Pro. This is the iPad Pro right here. But as I was saying, it's always hard to start a project, especially when you haven't done something for a little while, whether it be running, whether it be working out, whether it be getting back onto PowerPoint, whether it be a relationship. I mean, things are always kind of hard to start, and you've got to kind of create that new habit, and you got to kind of get back in the groove. Like I said, I'm not using Microsoft PowerPoint this time. I'm using a thing called Google Slides. My buddy Eric, that paddled with me, a good friend now, he's doing a presentation up there for somebody in his town. I'm not sure. I think it might be the VFW or some sort of military organization. And he recommended, because I told him, I said, I've got a Mac, I've got 2 iPhones, I've got an iPad. I really would like to find something that I could do this presentation with on those platforms, on Apple platform. And he told me the Google Slides had a thing that was pretty much very, very similar to, and very, you would recognize the functionality of it, similar to MS PowerPoint. So that's what I'm using right now, is putting that together all day. But it just took me a while to get started. A couple times I pulled it up and just started messing with some slides. I'm like, man, I hated I used to hate this. I hated it. And that's one of the reasons I quit my government job after 3 years. I was like, man, I hate the meetings. I hate the spreadsheets I got to do. I hate the PowerPoints I got to create. I hate the people I have to man. I don't hate them, but it was just, I'm done. I was done with it. I was done with the commutes. I was done with the traffic. I was done with the every aspect of corporate life. I was done with it. And that's why I left and became a partner and a brewer. Not a brewer, a partner and a bartender up at Homegrown Brewhouse. Before I finally gave up everything and said, I'm just going to retire and hit the road, So with all that said, I'm breathing easy now, guys, and that's the purpose of the beer, is because I've finally have started the Google Slide process. I've got some things in play, and I finally got with Brad and Danielle today. I finally got with Ben Banky up there at Oak Road Brewing Company. I got with Paul Stone of the Paul Stone Project, or Paul Pietrofesso of the Paul Stone Project. Got with all the entities that are going to be involved in this presentation, and finally we all got in line. We picked a date, we picked a time, and I think it's going to all come together. So you'll be the first to hear it. It's going to be November 18th. It's going to be on a Thursday. It's going to be at Coastal Coffee Roasters. It'll start at roughly 5 p.m. Give time for people to kind of get off work and get over there, get their kids situated, bring their kids with them. I don't know, whatever. We're going to sit in the cafe. The cafe will be closed. Brad is going to graciously open the cafe just for this presentation, so won't be any other business in there besides the presentation going on to interfere with the show. The presentation will last approximately 5 to 6-ish. I'll give a little slideshow, whatever. We're just going to do a meet and greet, kind of a Q&A type thing. I'm going to bring my gear up there, my canoe, showcase everything, and let people just kind of take a look at what went down the river, 2,200 miles down the river over 94 days. And then we're going to break loose. We're going to break loose from there. We're going to go next door to Oak Road Brewing Company. Originally, we're going to try and do some sort of a beer release coincided with this thing, but it's too difficult with this short a time frame to kind of come up with a beer and a recipe and brew it and get it out in a timely manner. I kind of want to get this thing done while it's still fresh in my mind. But regardless, we're gonna swing next door after the presentation to Oak Road Brewing Company, and we're gonna do kind of a meet and greet. People can come over and from the presentation, or new people can come in and just meet the paddler, I guess is what we could call it, and have more opportunity to sit down and just have a conversation with me and talk to me about what happened on the river and my experience. And maybe they want to get some know-how, maybe they want to do the trip one day, or maybe they just want to paddle in general and they just want to get some tips on paddling or what have you. I'm going to be there to answer any and all questions and kind of give some tips and tricks and my experience. So we'll do that. And then Mr. Paul Stone and his crew, we're going to try and bring a trio into the brewery, and we'll do just a couple hour show of music. And one of the things we're going to do is premiere the song that Paul wrote for me on the Mississippi River. Or he didn't write it on the Mississippi River, but for me, while I was paddling the Mississippi River, he wrote a song for me called Mississippi Row On. So we'll premiere that out here in Somerville, and he's got a new finishing verse that I think he's adding to it that is going to be a premiere for me. I probably have never even heard this last verse, so I know he had told me that he thinks he's finished out the fourth verse. So that's exciting. I can breathe easy now. Not quite, because I still got to finish the presentation and add some pictures and stuff that I'm going to put in there and figure out exactly how I'm going to streamline it and the flow, and I'll have to practice a few times here and there, which, I don't normally do, as you know, on this show. I'm just kind of impromptu. I just kind of throw things together. I've stopped even using notes like I used to do in the beginning of the show when I started with Caleb. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Caleb Quire, we haven't done anything. We haven't collaborated on anything. We haven't done anything together as a team, as partners, or in conjunction with each other since we split up on the show. Since we went our separate ways and started doing our separate things and different things. So Mr. Caleb Quire from the Bait Cat Studio, CQ Works, Women in Brewing podcast. He's now the PR guy for Oak Road Brewing Company and for Coastal Coffee Roasters and a few other places around town, some eating establishments, some food trucks, some whatever. he is going to help me promote this thing and get the word out and build an event website and I don't know, flyers, do some promotion with one of his characters he has out there named Klaus. I'm sure there's going to be some of that involved, but this will be the first time Mr. Quire and I have collaborated on anything. Hell, I don't know, in about 2 years probably. I mean, I can't even remember when we split up on the show. I think we started this show together, Craft Conversations, back in April or May of April, I think, of 2018. So what is it now? It's 2021. So I think we did that for about 3 months together before I broke off. So 2018. I mean, it's been almost 3 years probably since. Shit, has it been that damn long since we've collaborated? And I'm not gonna lie, I've tried to collaborate with Caleb, and probably went about it the wrong way. I was kind of a dick about it, but I was trying to create some sort of controversy and kind of get like what I envisioned was like a Howard Stern, Imus type little spat going on, or maybe a David Letterman, Jay Leno spat, or whoever you want to throw together in those spats. I was trying to get like a little back and forth going on, and I talk about him. He would get on his podcast when he had one called the Like I Said podcast, and he would talk about me, and we kind of go back and forth and just make it a thing. But he didn't want to play along, and that's fine. It was probably a dick move for me to even try and get him to play along with that, but it was fun nonetheless. I had fun with it. And I thought we could have fun with it together. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I wasn't trying to be mean. I wasn't trying to be an enemy. I was trying to collaborate and actually, just make it a thing. And, it would maybe get me more viewers and followers, and the same thing with him. And I just wanted to try and beef up both of our podcasts. But again, nevertheless, we're getting together. We're collaborating on this thing. And I hope that it maybe breeds a new season, a new bond, a new friendship, and maybe we can start doing some things together, because I like the stuff that he's doing. I think he's hilarious, and he's doing some good stuff, and he puts out a good product. He's a great artist. He's a great filmmaker. He's a great photographer, and I'd really like to collaborate and do more things with him. So there's that. So we got that going on. What else is going on, guys? What's happening? Let me take another sip of this beer, man. It's good. It's not that warm. I bought these up at the beer den earlier. I was up there doing some more work on the podcast and collaborating with Ben and Paul, trying to set things up. And I bought these. They were on the shelf, not in the fridge, so they're not ice cold. I threw two of them into the freezer when I got back here while I was moving the trailer and getting things set up. I figured it would have time enough to kind of cool down. So it's kind of, it's about halfway there, I guess. But still delicious. I mean, come on. 94 days on the river. How many times do you think we had an ice cold drink? Probably 10% of the time. 10% of the trip did we have something that was ice cold, specifically a beer. We utilized our cooler and some of the other stuff for other things, for storage for other things, instead of putting ice in there and worrying about having cold water or cold tea or cold beers, cold juice drinks, Gatorade, whatever. On the occasion that we did have those things, we'd stop at a gas station or we'd be in a town and get something from the bar. Man, it was a treat. So it was nice to, not always have an ice cold drink out there on the river. It made you appreciate that ice cold drink when you did get one. Down the road, down the river, in the next town, what have you. So we drank warm beer plenty of times for lunch, down the river, at the campsite, before bedtime, what have you, many, many, many times. So what was I even saying? What was I saying? Drinking this beer. Oh, I was talking about, so what else has been going on? Well, what else has been going on? Holy hell. I came back into town and I said, you know what? And I think I talked about this last episode, that I had purchased some Theo Vaughn tickets for the Theo Vaughn 2-night event that he was having at the Gilliard Auditorium here in Charleston. I came back into town. I went on to the website. I'd forgotten. Before I went on to the Mississippi River, before I left, I had heard on his podcast that he was going to be in Charleston for a night. So I looked up the date on it. It was 22 October. And at the time, I said, man, I'm not even sure how long this trip is going to take. I don't know if I'll be back in town by the 22nd of October. I don't want to chance it and buy these tickets and not be able to use them, just waste money or what have you. So I decided against buying the tickets before I left. Well, I got back into town and I was listening to one of his latest podcast episodes, and I heard him still talking about, hey, I'm going to be in Charleston, I'm going to be in Asheville, I'm going to be in blah, blah, blah town, city. So I decided, what the hell, I'm going to go on Gilliard's site or Theo Von's site and look at his events, shows, tour, and see if I can find any tickets close to me. Well, it still showed that there was, tickets in Charleston, South Carolina. So I went onto the Gilliard website, and it said, a show October 22nd, Friday, a show October 23rd on Saturday. But it said that the 22nd show was sold out, and they had added a second date because of the interest, the demand for the show. I decided, I said, shit, let me because I had something else going on the 23rd on Saturday. I didn't want to commit myself to Theo Von on that day. So I just clicked on get tickets for the 22nd. And I said, let's just take a shot. So I clicked on get tickets. I went down to the orchestra section. I said, man, I want to be as close as I can to Theo if I go see his show. I clicked on the orchestra section, which is the ground floor section of the Coliseum or the auditorium. And luckily there was still seats available. So I found a seat on row D, seat 1. Freaking awesome. Aisle seat, all by myself. Well, I wasn't by myself. I had a guy that had a seat next to me that was probably a little, it was like an airplane. He probably should have had 2 seats, really. Probably should have had to purchase 2 seats at the size he was. But I'm not fat shaming him. I'm not saying, anything bad about him. But, I mean, come on. These seats fit, a certain size person. And maybe you should have had 2 seats because you kind of crowded me out a little bit. But regardless, had a great time. Oh, my God. I've been to a lot of comedy shows. I was in Vegas for 3 years. I saw a lot of comedy out there. I mean, Bill Cosby, Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, big names, small names. Probably, most likely, maybe definitely the best live comedy show I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've seen a lot of comedy shows. Is it the best comedy show I've ever seen? No, I wouldn't say that. But as far as in person, live, oh my gosh! I mean, even the headline, not the headliner, the host that came out. I think her name was Katie. Can't remember her last name. Even the second guy that was opening up, Ari Manning. Let's see if I can figure out what that guy's name was. Hold on just a second. Ari. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here real quick. Ari Manis. So Ari Manis, this dude right here. I don't know if I can click his picture. No. I can maybe, I can maybe zoom in right here. So this is Ari Manis. He was the second comedian that talked the other night. Talked. He didn't talk. He performed. He did a comedy show. Hilarious. Is it hilarious or hilarious? I say hilarious. I think it's spelled actually hilarious, but oh my gosh, this guy was funny as shit. And of course, Theo is just unbelievable. Theo is so seamless. But anyway, I would recommend Ari Manis. I would recommend Katie. If I knew her last name, I'd tell you her last name. I want to look her up and see more comedy from her, but she was funny. She might have been a local act. I'm not sure. Hilarious. The entire night, Theo Von, he makes it so seamless. He acts like this is the first time he's ever told this story, or he acts like he's just making shit up off the top of his head. But I'm sure some of it, more than likely, but I'm sure he has to have practiced this and he has to put it together. I mean, nobody's going to come up and just do a tour and just wing it off the top of their head. I don't think. I saw him on King and the Sting from last week, and he even said that during this tour, he has a Netflix special out right now. So he said on the latest podcast he did with Brendan Schaub that he probably used 25% of the Netflix special in this tour that he's doing right now, and probably the rest of it, 75%, is all new material. But after watching his Netflix special, and I watched it before I went to the show at the Gill Yard, I kind of did it. I didn't really want to. I thought to myself, man, what if I watch this Netflix special and the show that I go see is the exact same thing as the Netflix special? That's going to suck. And then I said to myself, I said, wait a minute. I said, there's no way that Netflix special just came out 2 days, I think, prior to the show. There's no way he just did that show. That show had to have been recorded and been in the books months ago, a year ago. I don't know how long ago it was recorded. So I said, man, there's no way this is going to be the same show. So I went ahead and watched the Netflix special before I went. And yes, he did perform some of the same jokes, some of the same routines from the Netflix special, but he had, punched them up a little bit. He had retooled them. He had, different endings to them. So they were the same jokes, but I thought they were better performed, and he had cleaned them up and made them, improved them, made them even better. So if you missed that show, I'm sorry for you. If you can find him somewhere else in a different town while he's still on tour, I would highly recommend it. If you're a Theo Von fan, even if you're not, if you're just a comedy fan, highly recommend that you go and check out Theo Von. Fantastic. So that's what I did this past Friday night. And I almost bought a ticket to go see him the second night. It was so funny. And I said, man, the second night, I bet you he tweaks it and just a little something different that's going to be even funnier. Even if he doesn't, it's still a hilarious show. But I didn't. I had the show Birthday Bash at Accent on Wine Whitehall to go to, so I did that. I went with my good friend, female, I don't know, girlfriend. I don't know what you call her. I don't know what we call each other. I don't think we've known what we call each other for 3-something plus years, 4 years, however long. I don't know. I went with Tess, and we had a good time, fantastic time. The weather was perfect. We sat outside. They had a couple of food trucks. They had Jig Wiggler played with a 3-piece band up there, played some fantastic, some original tunes, and then some cover stuff. Of course, the whole crew up there at Accent on Wine is fantastic, fabulous. They treated everybody perfectly and did a great job servicing everyone. Had some great beers. I did have some food from the Fed Up food truck that was fantastic. I think it was called a pig bowl, so it was like pulled pork. It has some coleslaw. It was over rice. Had some mustard barbecue sauce in there. Maybe some pickles. What the hell else was in there? I think that was about it. But it was so good. A little tiny bowl, just enough. And what else? I was supposed to go to, Frothy Beard Offworld to see Paul Stone, but I'm done. I'm done with Frothy Beard Offworld. I won't go in there ever again. And you don't need to know why. Maybe one day I'll tell you why, but I'm done with them. I gave them a shot. I gave some of the people that work there a shot. I tried to be the bigger man and be the adult in the situation. And I'm just done with them. They can go, I hope they do well. Let's just put it, I'm not going to badmouth them. I hope they do well, but they're not going to get my business, and that's all there is to say about that. So that's that. What else we got going on? I had it all on this phone. I always have my notes on this phone, and then when I get to doing the podcast, my phone's way over here, and I can't figure out what else I was going to talk about. We're 34 minutes in already, so we're doing better than we did last show. Not better. It doesn't have to be a long show or a short show or any type of time limit going on, but I'm still thinking that I'm going to wait. November 18th, man, it's a long time for me to keep my mouth shut on some of this river trip. But I think I just want to wait because I'm going to record. I'm going to try and have these cameras set up. I want to have... I'll probably use my leveling mic, maybe, or my lavalier mic, to maybe get the sound. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet because I want some people to ask me some questions. I want to do a Q&A thing, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get the questions, on the podcast. But I want to record everything, so I have my iPad set up. I'll probably have these cameras set up a couple angles so you can see the crowd in there. Maybe one pointed at the screen so you can see the slideshow that I'm going to do. Very minimal slideshow. It's going to be mostly just me kind of winging it. Like I said, I'm setting up a semi-script on this slideshow, but really it's going to be kind of an impromptu speech type thing where I'll just get up there and just bullshit like I do on the show, and hopefully not ramble on too much. I want to have a little bit of structure because I do have a time limit of about an hour for this thing, so I don't want to go over. Under would be okay, but I don't want to go over the hour and keep Brad and whoever else he brings to the show presentation any longer than I have to, because like I said, they're opening the doors just for me, and they'll lock them behind us so nobody else comes in and thinks that they're open. But what was I saying? So yeah, it's going to be kind of an impromptu thing. I'm just going to get up there and just kind of shoot the shit. I'll basically be fielding questions after I kind of give you some meat of the subject, and I just want to put out there some facts about Warrior Expeditions, some facts about the Mississippi River, and then kind of go in and talk a little bit maybe about the gear that I used or the gear that was issued to us and how that was significant. I'm going to have my gear there, and I'll kind of go over some gear stuff there as well. But the main thing is I want people to be able to say, hey, I've always wanted to know this about the river. How was this? How are the barges? How was that? How was the water? How are the fish? How was the alligators? Whatever questions are out there, I want to be able to answer those questions. So, with all that said, a camera on the screen, a camera on me, maybe a camera on the audience, a couple spots if I can find my third phone. I can even have another camera there. And I want to field questions for the audience, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. So, if I can't figure out some sort of mic setup, then you'll be able to hear me perfectly. But what I might do is just, if somebody asks me a question, I'll just have to repeat that question for you guys, for anybody listening, so that way you know what the question was, and then I'll answer that question. So, and then, like I said, we'll move on from there. We're going to mosey on over next door to the Oak Grove Brewing Company. We'll partake in some of their great lagers, pilsners, those type things that they brew over there. And Mr. Paul Stone has graciously agreed to come out and support me, and it's I'm humbled, and I get, man, it's like the river, right? Just all the graciousness and all the love and the support from all the people down the river, up the river, that supported us along the way, and then to get back and still have these people, your friends, your ex-coworkers, your acquaintances still support you in such a way that is just phenomenal, fantastic, And it just, I don't know how I'm going to get through this presentation when I do it, actually, because when I talk about them, when I talk about the people on the river, and I talk about just the goodness in people in this world, versus what you hear every day on the stupid news and on Facebook and all these social media platforms, Twitter, that just, they just make you angry every day. And it's just bullshit, man. Get away from all that, please. If you're angry, if you're pissed off all the time, if you're depressed, if you're sad, if you're mad, get off of Facebook. Unfollow some people, unfriend some people if you have to, but do not partake in the negativity anymore. Don't do it. Be positive. Turn off the news feeds, maybe watch, just regular TV or a movie or a TV series or reality TV or something, or music videos, or just get on YouTube and watch what you want to watch. But stop following the news and stop going down these rabbit holes of just misinformation and fake news and false news and negative news. And, oh my God, the sky is always falling. I was gone for 94 days, longer than that, really, for the entire trip. And the sky is not falling. The sky is beautiful. I saw the most beautiful sky every single day of the week. Morning, noon, afternoon, evening. The sky is fine. It's not falling, I promise you. So get off of the negativity. Get off of the news. Get off of the social media sites. Retool your news feeds and the sites if you're going to stay on there. Stop posting negative stuff and you will stop seeing negative stuff. Start posting positive things. You'll see positive things. And it's kind of the way life is, right? If you stop doing negative things and you stop having negative thinking and you stop doing having negative thoughts and you stop being a dick or a bitch or a cunt or a asshole and those type things, if you start being nice and you start helping people and you start giving back and you start being generous with your time and generous with your money, and you buy the guy behind you in the line at the coffee shop, you buy their coffee or their donut or their bagel or their muffin. Those things are going to come back to you. The universe is going to bring those things back to you. It's called karma. It's called positive thinking. It's whatever the term is you want to call it. It is a thing. It is energy that you put out into the universe, and the type of energy that you put out there and the type of energy that you give off is what you're going to get in return. Now, is that to say that there's not going to be some negative things, that you're not going to be sad, that you're not going to be depressed, that there's not going to be some bad things that happen in your life? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. There has to be a yin and yang of life. There's going to be an ebb and flow. There's going to be an up and down. There's going to be a left and right. There's a north and south. There's a cold and hot. I mean, there has to be those balances. But overall, in general, you're going to get more of what you put out there, whether it be negative or positive. So I'm just saying, be nice to people, guys. That's all. Just be nice to people, and people will be nice to you. And then it just all kind of goes in a big circle, and just kind of it's the earth, just kind of spinning around, and you're going to have a much better life because of it. And you'll stop maybe thinking, "Woe is me," and "Oh, my life sucks," and "Oh, the world is going to hell in a handbasket." And you'll stop thinking all these thoughts, and you'll start looking at the world in a different way, and you'll say, "Man, I've been wrong all along. The world is fine. It's my attitude that was bad. It's the attitude of the people that I've been following on Facebook that are bad, or on Twitter that are bad, or whatever, the negativity that I've been seeing on Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or whatever news source you follow." Get out of those cycles and get into your own positivity cycle. All right, guys. All right, that's the update from the travel trailer. November 18th, 5 p.m. Mark your calendar, cancel your schedules, and make sure you get to Coastal Coffee Roasters at 108 3rd Street, I think, in Somerville, downtown Somerville. I think it's 108. Make sure you get over there. I'll be putting on the presentation. We'll have a good time with Paul Stone, drink some good beer, and we're going to make it happen. So, again, more to come on that. You'll see more stuff posted out on my social media sites and those type things, and we'll get you all squared away with that. So, all right, I think that's it. Just a small update. Just want to give you some whatnots of what's going on, and we'll get together maybe in a few days, maybe in a week. I'm not sure. Try and see if I can maybe get somebody in here, and you don't have to just listen to me rant and rave and ramble the whole time. I'm going to go drink this beer, finish this beer. I'm going to maybe open a second one. I am going to... one more thing. Hold on. Forgot about this. So if... let's pull this guy back up. So this is Peter Bragiel. If you want to figure out, if you want a good depiction of what I experienced and my team experienced as I went down the Mississippi River, go to YouTube, type in Peter Bragiel, and I'll try and remember to put his link in the show notes. But you're going to want to go to his playlist here, and you're going to want to go to this Mississippi River by Canoe playlist. And let's open this up here. We're going to pause that. But if you go here, he's got a prologue. He kind of explains what he's getting ready to do, and then they start off at the headwaters, and they go all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, just like we did. There's short episodes. There's 25 episodes altogether, including the prologue. You can see here they're 5, 6, 7 minutes long, maybe at the most. Real quick series, very palatable, great information. Man, these guys had a fantastic time. There was 4 of them. They went down in 2 canoes, doubled up in each canoe. And, oh, my gosh, it just made me smile the whole time I was watching. I'm like, oh, man, I remember that. Oh, I remember being at that place. I remember being at that campsite. I remember going to that restaurant. Some of the people I even remember that they filmed. And this was 10 years ago. This is 2011 that they did this thing. And, man, it brought all the memories, which has just been a week and 3 days ago that we finished. But it brought back all these rushing emotions, even teared up a few times, during watching it, saying, man, I just did that. And I remember those fantastic times. I remember these barges. I remember this water. I remember that campsite. I remember that sand on that beach. I remember these bugs. I mean, just everything. So if you want a good series that really gives a good depiction of what we went through, watch that series by Peter Bragiel. All right, that's really it. I'm signing off, and when I sign off, what does that always mean? That means we're going to talk to you soon, and I hope that you guys put on your calendar November 18th. Okay, Coastal Coffee Roasters, 5 p.m. All right, later.